A star gone too soon. Fans gather in heartbreak over YUMENGLONG's tragic farewell. The world stood still the moment the news broke. YUMENGLONG, the radiant Chinese actor, singer, and director whose gentle smile had warmed millions, was gone. It felt unreal, almost cruel, like a bad dream no one wanted to wake from. In just a few hours, the internet exploded with disbelief, sorrow, and endless tributes. Hashtags bearing his name flooded every platform. Streets, once filled with laughter from fans, now echoed with the quiet hum of mourning. The world had lost not just an entertainer, but a light, a soul whose warmth touched hearts far beyond the screen. Fans began to gather in cities across China, Korea, Thailand, and beyond, holding candles that trembled in the night air. Some wept openly, others stood in stunned silence. In Beijing, thousands filled the streets outside his agency's building, each person clutching flowers, photographs, and handwritten letters. White roses, lilies, and chrysanthemums blanketed the gates, a sea of devotion stretching farther than anyone could see. It wasn't just about grief. It was love, pure and aching, love for someone who had given so much of himself through art, music, and humanity. YUMENGLONG wasn't just a performer, he was a storyteller. His eyes carried emotion deeper than words, his voice, a soothing whisper that could melt even the hardest hearts. Fans recalled his roles in Eternal Love, The Love Lasts Two Minds, and Find Yourself, roles that painted him as both dream and reality, hero and heartache. But off-screen, those who met him described him as quiet, kind, humble, and deeply reflective, a man who never let fame cloud his heart. On the morning of his passing, the sky seemed different, gray, heavy, and restless. News channels hesitated to confirm the reports, as disbelief spread faster than fact. When his management finally released a statement confirming his death, the world collectively gasped. The internet froze in shock. Fans refused to believe it. "It can't be true," one wrote. "He just posted a message days ago. He was smiling." Others shared clips of his interviews, his laughter, his behind-the-scenes warmth. Every word, every smile suddenly became precious fragments of a life cut too short. Outside his family home, the air carried a silence so deep it felt sacred. Mourners knelt by the gates, praying softly. Many brought his favorite snacks, small plush toys, and fan-made art pieces, arranging them gently under the photos of him in happier times. The pictures showed a man glowing with life, unaware of how fleeting that light would be. His funeral became a global vigil. Screens glowed in dark rooms across continents as fans lit candles and played his songs, whispering messages into the digital void. "Rest in peace, Menglong." Among the crowd stood familiar faces, actors, directors, and musicians who had shared the screen with him. Wang Yibo was seen wiping away tears, his face buried in his hands as he struggled to speak. Xiao Zhan, one of Menglong's close friends, delivered a tribute so moving it silenced the crowd. His voice trembled as he said, "He wasn't just my friend, he was a brother. His heart was too pure for this world. I wish I could have told him one more time how loved he was." The air grew heavier as the coffin, draped in white silk, was carried out under the faint drizzle of rain. The sound of sobbing filled the space. Fans reached out with trembling hands, as if hoping to touch him one last time. Cameras flashed, not out of disrespect, but desperation, to hold on to something, anything, before he was gone forever. The scene was both beautiful and unbearable, a final act of love performed under the gray sky that seemed to cry with them. Across the world, memorials sprang up spontaneously. In Seoul, fans placed candles by the Han River. In Los Angeles, a group of international admirers held a silent march along the beach at sunset. Hashtags like #RememberYumenglong, #RestinLightMenglong, and #ForeverStar trended globally. His music, once background comfort, now felt like an elegy, a soft voice echoing from the heavens. Those who knew him spoke of a man who carried the weight of perfection with grace. He was a perfectionist in art, but gentle in life. Always first to arrive on set and last to leave, he treated every role as a reflection of truth. He never did anything halfway, one director recalled. He wanted every detail right, not for fame, but because he believed every story deserved honesty. That honesty made him magnetic. His presence wasn't loud, but it lingered long after he left the room. In the days following his death, fans shared stories of how he had changed their lives. One fan wrote that his dramas helped her overcome depression. Another shared how his songs comforted her during her darkest nights. Thousands more confessed that he had been their safe place, the calm voice that reminded them it was okay to feel, to dream, to keep going. His influence stretched beyond fame. It became a form of healing. As night fell on the day of his farewell, a soft rain began to fall. Candles flickered, their flames reflected in wet pavement like stars that refused to die. The crowd began to hum one of his songs, voices trembling but united. The lyrics, once cheerful, now sounded like a goodbye, too painful to say. "We'll meet again," someone whispered. Another replied, "He's still here, just in another form." It was a moment of shared grief. Thousands of hearts beating in harmony, mourning someone who had touched them without ever meeting them. His parents stood quietly, their faces pale but proud. They thanked the fans through tears, saying, "He lived with love, and he left surrounded by it. Please don't remember his sadness, remember his light." Those words spread like fire, repeated in posts and tweets worldwide. Artists drew portraits of him with angel wings. Poets wrote verses about his gentle soul, and filmmakers created tribute clips merging his most powerful scenes into one breathtaking montage. In one viral video, a fan captured the exact moment the final curtain fell at his memorial concert. Thousands of lanterns were released into the night sky, glowing like floating stars. Each carried a note written to Yumenglong, a promise, a prayer, or a final thank you. As they drifted higher, the sky shimmered with light, as though the universe itself was taking him home. People often say that stars never truly die, they simply move to another sky. For Yumenglong, this seemed truer than ever. His legacy lives not only in his films and songs, but in every heart he touched. Every fan who carries his memory forward becomes part of that constellation, shining brighter because of him. The entertainment world will never quite be the same. His absence is a silence that echoes in every stage light, every script, every song left unfinished. Yet even in that silence, his presence remains. You can feel it in the way fans speak his name softly, like a prayer. You can see it in the way his eyes still look back from posters and photos, full of life. There is a saying, some stars burn so brightly, they leave trails of light even after they're gone. Yumenglong was one of those stars. His departure may have dimmed the world, but his glow will never fade. He will live on in the stories he told, the emotions he stirred, and the people he inspired to love a little deeper, dream a little bigger, and smile through their tears. The rain had stopped, but the tears hadn't. Days after Yumenglong's passing, the world still felt dimmer, like the sun had forgotten to rise. Fans across every corner of the globe continued to hold vigils, their candles now symbols of eternal love rather than simple mourning. In Shanghai, crowds gathered by the waterfront, their reflections shimmering in the dark water as they played his music softly through portable speakers. The song Light of My Life drifted through the air, its lyrics suddenly taking on a haunting new meaning. Every note seemed to whisper, "I'll never truly leave you." In one corner of the crowd stood a young girl, clutching a hand-painted portrait of Menglong. Her hands trembled as she whispered, "You saved me when I was broken." Nearby, a group of fans from Japan had traveled all the way to China just to place their folded paper cranes at the memorial gate. They arranged them carefully beneath a large black and white photograph of him, smiling. The same smile that had once brought comfort to millions. Each crane represented a wish, a memory, a prayer for peace. The atmosphere was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It wasn't just grief, it was reverence. The air felt alive with emotion, as though his spirit lingered among them, watching quietly. The streetlights flickered, and many whispered that it was him, saying goodbye in his gentle, unspoken way. Inside the private ceremony hall, the sound of quiet piano filled the space. The melody came from one of his own compositions, Echoes of Time. His close friends and co-stars sat together in silence, their eyes glistening. Wang Yiba was seen gently placing a single white rose on the altar before stepping back, unable to hold back tears. Xiao Zhan, his longtime confidant, stood before the microphone once more, his voice trembling as he said, "If love had a face, it would look like Menglong's heart." He gave the world everything he had, and even now he's giving us a reason to keep believing in kindness. As he spoke, fans outside the building listened through speakers, their sobs blending into the rain that began to fall again. They didn't move. Nobody wanted to leave. It was as if leaving meant accepting the unbearable truth that Yumenglong was really gone. In the days following the ceremony, the streets turned into living memorials. Murals began appearing overnight, beautiful portraits painted on city walls showing you with wings of light, standing against a backdrop of stars. Artists poured their hearts into every stroke, painting not just his image, but his essence, the calmness, the compassion, the grace that defined him. Social media became a digital shrine. Millions changed their profile pictures to his last photograph. Fans shared video edits of his warmest smiles, his laughter between takes, the way he waved shyly during fan meetings. His voice echoed everywhere, on the radio, in cafes, on live streams replaying his songs. Even strangers who hadn't known his name before found themselves captivated by the wave of emotion that swept through the world. Who was he, they asked, and when they found out, they too began to mourn him. That's how powerful his light was. It reached even those who hadn't yet seen it. One especially touching moment came from an elderly fan who had watched all his dramas. She stood at a memorial site, holding a small candle, saying, "He reminded me of my own grandson. So gentle, so full of hope." Her voice broke, but she smiled softly through her tears. "He made me believe there's still goodness in this world." Her words were later shared thousands of times online, reminding everyone that Yumenglong's reach went far beyond age, language, or background. As night fell again, fans decided to organize a candlelight march for Menglong. In silence, they walked through the city streets holding lanterns, their glow merging into one endless river of light. From above, it looked like a galaxy had descended to Earth. Drones captured the breathtaking view, thousands walking shoulder to shoulder, their faces illuminated by golden flames, moving as one heartbeat. Each step was a vow to remember him, to carry his legacy forward. Meanwhile, his music label announced that they would release his unreleased tracks as a final gift to fans. The announcement brought another wave of tears. "It's like hearing his soul one last time," one fan commented. When the first song dropped, titled "Where the Light Sleeps," the internet went silent. His voice filled every home, soft and celestial, as if he were speaking directly from beyond. The lyrics, eerily fitting, said, "If I go where the light sleeps, promise me you'll still smile when you see the dawn." Those words broke hearts around the world. In a quiet interview days later, one of his directors revealed that Yumenglong had been working on a new film, a story about love, loss, and redemption. He described how Menglong insisted on rewriting parts of the script to make it more human, more hopeful. That was him, the director said. He never stopped believing in hope, even when the story was sad. He always found the light in it. Even in grief, his fans carried that message forward. Many began organizing charity drives in his name, funding education for underprivileged children, and donating to mental health foundations. He always cared about others, one fan leader said. We're doing this because it's what he would have wanted. And so, his passing became not just a moment of sorrow, but a movement of love, a wave of kindness that continued to ripple across borders. At his final resting place, rows of white flowers stretched endlessly. The scent of lilies mixed with soft rain. Fans kneeled quietly, some whispering prayers, others just sitting in silence. A young boy placed a letter beside the grave. It read, "You may be gone, but you're the reason I want to chase my dreams. Thank you, Yumenglong." That letter was later found by a journalist who described it as the heartbeat of a generation that grew up believing in him. As dawn broke, the first rays of light touched the marble stone engraved with his name. The mist lifted, revealing hundreds of people still gathered, their candles now replaced by sunlight. And in that gentle morning glow, it felt as if his spirit was finally free, watching over them, smiling that same soft, eternal smile that once captured the world. Yumenglong may have left the stage too soon, but the show of his life continues, in the songs that still play, in the hearts that still beat for him, and in the countless souls he taught to love, to dream, and to never let their light fade. His story didn't end with his death. It transformed into a legend written in the sky. Because even though the star is gone, his light remains. Forever.